Hey guys, what's going on? James here. In the next few videos I'm going to be uploading here on the channel, we're going to be talking about some of the top 30 visits the Tampa Bay Buccaneers have had leading up to the NFL Draft. Now, this list has been compiled by our friend Scott Reynolds over at pewterreport.com. And the first name we're going to be taking a look at in this video today is Florida State wide receiver Keon Coleman, somebody we've already talked about here on this channel. 6'3", 213 pounds. Big wide receiver. He is from LA. He was a junior this year coming out of Florida State, and according to NFL.com, he's graded to eventually be a starter in the NFL. Take a real quick look at his combine results: a 4.61 40-yard dash, 1.54 10-yard split, a 38-inch vertical jump, 10-foot 7-inch broad jump. Didn't do the 3-cone drill, the 20-yard shuttle, or the bench press at the combine. But according to Lance Zierlein, he is compared to Drake London. A lot of people have thought that Keon Coleman could be an option for the Bucs in the first round. I know there's a lot of Florida State fans that watch this channel and probably would not be opposed at all to the idea of Keon Coleman joining the Bucs. Now, so far this offseason, the Bucs have lost Russell Gage, they re-signed Devin Tompkins, and they lost wide receiver David Moore. So you have Trey Palmer as your penciled-in third wide receiver right now. You have Devin Tompkins, who is going to be some depth. You have some other guys. I believe Raheem Jarrett is still on this football team. He is going to be some depth as well. And you did re-sign Mike Evans, by the way, to a big 2-year deal also. But Keon Coleman is a guy that I feel like could be an immediate benefit to this wide receiver room. Take a look at his stats. He actually started his career at Michigan State from 2021 to 2022. He actually led Michigan State in receiving yards in 2022 with 798 and 7 touchdowns. Then in 2023 with Florida State, played in 12 games, had 658 receiving yards. Again, that led Florida State for that season, and 11 touchdowns. This is a guy that is a very big red zone threat. Pun not intended, but very accurate. And yes, gets comparisons to Drake London. Wouldn't surprise me if a lot of people compare him to a guy like Mike Evans. You know, Mike Evans 6'5", Keon Coleman 6'3", both red zone threat types of guys. And man, I'm going to tell you what, if you run some 4 wide receiver set, or even let's just say a 3 wide receiver set of Mike Evans, Chris Godwin, and Keon Coleman in the red zone, good luck. That's all I'm going to say, because that's going to be a lot of big-bodied weapons who can go up and get 50-50 jump balls for Baker Mayfield to throw to. The one thing I want to say about this is it a bit of a luxury for the Bucs to spend a first-round draft pick at wide receiver? That is going to be where some people may debate that. I wouldn't be opposed to the idea of the Bucs drafting a wide receiver in round 1, and obviously they have a lot of interest in Keon Coleman since he did get that top 30 visit from the Bucs. But it does beg that question to be risen. Is that a bit of a luxury thing? You have Mike Evans, you have Chris Godwin. There are other position groups that you could certainly look at and dive into with a first round draft pick. I don't necessarily know if Keon Coleman would fall to the second round. In fact, I would say that it is incredibly unlikely. But I do know that a lot of people like Coleman, what he brings to the table with Florida State. They obviously had a fantastic year this past season, so he's been a part of 2 very good organizations, in my opinion, with Michigan State and with Florida State. 2 schools that I feel like have likely prepared him pretty well for the NFL level. And I think that you obviously have to find a successor to Mike Evans eventually. I don't necessarily know how long Chris Godwin is going to be at the Buccaneers. If you are of the assumption that Chris Godwin this upcoming season is his last year, then this would make a lot more sense. You could have Keon Coleman be your future wide receiver 2 next to Mike Evans, and heck, if Mike Evans is done after this last contract of his, maybe he signs one more deal after that, Keon Coleman can eventually be your wide receiver 1, is how you can view that as well. So I think that this is a move, or it would be a pick that has immediate value in some way, because Keon Coleman could be your wide receiver 3, or at the very least competing with Trey Palmer or rotating with Trey Palmer. but with longer term implications as well, with Keon Coleman and Trey Palmer being the future of your wide receiver position moving forward as well. So it's interesting. But let me know your guys' thoughts and opinions about Keon Coleman. Do you want to see the Buccaneers invest in wide receiver early, specifically with Coleman? Are you a fan of Coleman's game coming out of Florida State? Again, I know that there are a lot of Florida State fans who watch this channel, so I'd love to hear your guys' thoughts and opinions about this as well. So let me know. Anyway, guys, thanks so much for watching this video. Hope y'all enjoyed. And as always, guys, I'll see you all in the next video or the next live stream. But until then, and as always, guys, goodbye for now, and go Bucs.